All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're stepping into a space of absolute awe. We're going to explore a timeless geometric mystery, a really profound piece of esoteric knowledge that's been hiding in plain sight within the architecture of our world, and as you'll see, even in the structure of our own bodies. We are preparing to decode the sacred mathematics that ancient mystics and builders used to understand the universe itself. So get comfortable and prepare to have your mind expanded.
Let's dive right in with an incredibly fascinating question. What if an impossible math problem actually held the blueprint to the human soul? Now, I know that sounds almost like science fiction, doesn't it? But the central mystery we're unpacking today is how a simple, ancient geometric puzzle isn't just some mathematical curiosity. It actually encodes the very secrets of our existence, our dual nature, and our spiritual evolution.
Let's start with a really clear definition: squaring the circle. It's defined as the geometric feat of creating a square and a circle with the exact same area, using nothing but a compass and a straight edge. Now here's the catch. Doing this perfectly, it's a literal mathematical impossibility. Why? Well, because to find the area of a circle, you have to use pi. And pi is, an infinite transcendental number. Because those digits literally go on forever, you always have to truncate or cut off the number at some point to do your calculation. So you can get incredibly close, but you can never truly perfectly square the circle.
But this math problem is actually a massive philosophical metaphor. On one side, you have the infinite circle. Ancient traditions use the circle to represent heaven, the immeasurable nature of pi, and the limitless spirit. And on the flip side, you have the finite square. The square represents Earth. It has highly measurable, rigid 90-degree corners. It represents the physical, tangible world of matter.
This brilliantly illustrates a much larger concept, the dualistic framework of the universe itself. We're talking about primordial oppositions here, spirit and matter, the eternal motion of the heavens versus the stillness of the earth right beneath our feet, the invisible and the visible, heaven and earth. Our entire reality is constructed from these contrasting forces, these opposites. And the ultimate spiritual goal, taught by ancient wisdom passed down through the ages, is to somehow unite them. And this isn't just one culture's idea, it crosses literally all boundaries. Ancient Chinese cosmology captures this beautifully with the quote, "The square earth its chariot, the round heaven its canopy." In fact, ancient creator deities were so often depicted holding a compass and a square. The compass draws the heavenly circle and the square draws the earthly square. This timeless wisdom was completely understood all over the ancient world.
Which actually brings us to one of the most famous opening lines in history, Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Now, when you view this through the lens of ancient sacred geometry, this isn't just a literal story about dirt and sky. It's actually a cryptic geometric blueprint. It's telling you that the very first things created were the archetypal circle of heaven and the archetypal square of the earth. It's the blueprint of the squared circle.
So, since perfectly squaring the circle is impossible, how did the ancients approximate it in a way they could actually use? Well, if you take a circle with a unit of 9, its area is roughly 63.63. If you take a square with a unit of 8, its area is exactly 64. I mean, that is astonishingly close. And in esoteric traditions, these aren't just random integers. The numbers 8 and 9 are deeply intrinsically tied to the primordial concepts of yin and yang.
Now here is where it gets super fascinating. If we multiply those two archetypal units together, 8 times 9, we arrive at a really powerful number, 72. This number becomes a massive anchor point in understanding the grand design of this whole ancient mystery.
Let's look at the incredible numerology behind this. Using ancient alphanumeric ciphers, which is specifically where letters correspond to numbers, we can decode names. The value of Lord is 13, Jesus is 27, Christ is 32. When you add 13, 27, and 32 together, the sum is exactly 72. This mathematically links the archetype of the Christ figure directly to the product of the squared circle. It's the union of heaven and earth.
But how does all this look visually? Let's trace the geometric steps. Step 1, you overlay your circle and your square. Step 2, take the radius from the center and extend it straight up to the top of the circle. Step 3, draw a triangle that encapsulates that circle, connecting the base to that top point. When you do this, you reveal what esoteric traditions call the fundamental axiomatic triangle of creation.
And here is where it becomes absolutely mind-blowing. If you measure the interior base to slope angle of that exact axiomatic triangle we just drew, it measures exactly 51.84 degrees. Why does that matter? Because 51.84 degrees are the exact dimensions of the base angle of the Great Pyramid of Giza. The Great Pyramid isn't just a tomb, it is a massive three-dimensional monument demonstrating the squared circle. It literally unites heaven and earth in stone.
Now, let's perfectly tie that spiritual numerology back to the physical geometry. Remember our number 72, the product of 8 and 9, the numerical value of Lord Jesus Christ? If you take 72 and square it, 72 times 72, it equals exactly 5184, the exact digits of the Great Pyramid's base angle of 51.84 degrees. This shows just an undeniable mathematical harmony between the concept of divine union and physical geometry.
But what about the top of that triangle? If we calculate the remaining top angle of this pyramid triangle, it comes out to roughly 76.3 degrees. If we look at the whole integer, rounding it down, we get the number 76. In esoteric symbolism, this top angle represents the missing capstone of the pyramid, the all-seeing eye, representing the omnipresent and omniscient creator watching over the unified construct of our reality.
Let's analyze that number 76 even further by breaking it down into 7 and 6. Using the ancient septenary cipher, the word 7 holds a numeric value of 22. The word 6 holds a value of 14. Amazingly, the base-to-height proportions of the Great Pyramid of Giza are exactly 22/14. The literal words for the digits of the top angle perfectly match the architectural proportions of the building itself. There is no way that's a coincidence.
All right, let's transition from massive ancient architecture all the way down to your own body. Consider the magic of the numbers 1 through 7. If you add 1 plus 2 plus 3 all the way to 7, the sum is 28. You have exactly 28 phalanges, or finger bones, on your two hands. Interestingly, that original Genesis 1:1 blueprint verse in Hebrew has exactly 28 letters. The squared circle is literally encoded onto your physical hands.
But what happens if we multiply those same numbers? 1 times 2 times 3, all the way up to 7. We arrive at this monumental number, 5040. Ancient philosophical traditions considered 5040 to be an incredibly significant number because it has exactly 60 divisors, making it supremely harmonious. In fact, this precise number was frequently used as a foundational blueprint in ancient utopian designs intended to unite all opposites in perfect harmony.
This deeply ingrained drive to unite opposites is visually captured across the entire world. Take the concept of a mandala, for example. Found in countless ancient cultures, it's essentially a geometric symbol representing the exact conjunction of a circle and a square. But here is the most fascinating part. The word mandala literally translates to split man. It visually indicates that mankind is deeply split between the heavens above and the earth below, and it's our spiritual task to bridge them.
We see this alchemical transformation, this merging of heaven and earth, mirrored brilliantly in language itself. The word earth has 5 letters. The earthly human name, Jesus, has 5 letters. Conversely, the word heaven has 6 letters. The divine title, Christ, has 6 letters. Bringing together the earthly vessel with the heavenly spirit is the ultimate act of squaring the circle. And geometry confirms his divine archetype in one final, beautiful way through the Vesica Piscis. Step 1. You overlap 2 circles exactly on their centers. Step 2. Place 2 smaller inner circles within that central almond shape, the womb. This creates the shape famously known as the traditional Jesus fish. And step 3. If you connect the centers of this geometry, the exact axiomatic pyramid triangle of the squared circle appears perfectly in the center. The figure of Christ, geometrically and mathematically, is the ultimate archetype of the squared circle. Which brings us to a final, deeply provocative question that I want to leave you with today. If the universe, from the Great Pyramids all the way down to the very bones in your hands, is built on this grand blueprint of the circle and the square, are you the ultimate temple where heaven and earth finally meet? It really challenges us to look beyond just the math and to see this ancient, impossible problem as the very blueprint of our own souls. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep seeking, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.